Hey everybody, welcome back to the bookshop. This is Shelley. It has been months since I've made a video, and I am planning on shortly I'm going to start doing some tutorials, craft with me's, stuff like that. But right now I'm having camera trouble, so it's hard to make videos. I cannot get my camera to record in landscape mode. So today I'm just doing a quick flip through of this journal. I have someone interested in it and I wanted to show some of the details that you just can't see in photographs. So this, I'm just going to try to keep this book in screen, but I only have so much room in this mode. This is just really driving me crazy. Anyway, I've got a little, like a specimen tag here on the side with these are real pressed flowers. And then the cover, let's see, this is a hardcover book, and it's about 7 3/4 by 4.5, ring bound. I altered the cover, sheet music in the background, and some of these fancy filigree corners on top of this is a Tim Holtz frame, but they are really thick, like baseboard I think they call them. So I peel them apart and I make like 4 out of 1. But I just did some white paint over it and some inking, and then under here there's some clear plastic on it. This is a napkin decoupaged, but then I put 2 real flowers over it. These are pressed flowers from my garden. I believe this is a petunia, and this is a daisy, something like that, some yellow flower. But it turned out really nice. I love this cover. So this journal was inspired by Wendy of Journal Adventures, I think it's called, and I made it quite a long time ago, and I'm embarrassed to say I completely forgot to make the video. So I'm going to try to keep it in screen here and show these plastic acetate things just shine. This though is another, like a specimen card, but the green on the sides are die cuts, and then the flower in the middle, this is a real pressed flower. I believe it's called the bachelor button, and then it's sewn around. I believe I got this frame and the numbers and stuff from Artie Mae's kit, her specimen tag kit. Inside here there's a couple of envelopes. This one in the window, it's got a pretty picture. I think those are gladiolas. And then the tag comes out. I'm not going to pull everything out, maybe just because you can't even see it off screen with this narrow. But you can write on the back. And then this one. This page is from the book. Like I said, this hardcover, it was a hardcover book, and it was an actual Wildflower book. So that's the theme. I left the back in its original state, and there's kind of a description of the book. So that's where I got the theme. The Wildflower book. This is, I think this is some Tim Holtz paper, but it's all sewn around too. Just got some lined paper, coffee dyed lined paper on the back for journaling. I tried to put as many things in for journaling as I could. Most of the papers are scrapbook from a paper pad, and I can't remember which one. I'm not going to talk about where all the tags come from, except for a few of them when I remember, like these. I love these. These are from, now I won't even remember. Craft Tree. Can't remember now. Okay, anyway, lavender kit. This, also, I made this tag with the stamp, The Story Begins. And all these little flower pieces are real pressed flowers, put under some acetate and sewn around. But yeah, most of the papers I made, or they're from a paper pad. This is a glassine bag. And the kind of system here is 3 bags, 3 envelopes, 3 dividers, and then 3 journals or 3 signatures. Each signature is kind of like a little journal. And so let's, in here, there's a lot of, I used napkins in a lot of, maybe not different ways, but several different ways to decorate this journal. I just had some pretty napkins. Love this one. And I actually used this one on the back of this bag and decoupaged the bag. So pretty. I just love this napkin. But there's a nice big tag. And then there's another one. This is another scrapbook paper that I used. That one just goes in the back. There's a pretty purple lace there. So this is the first signature or journal. I think they all have a pocket on one side, and then the other side just shows the pretty papers. And so this just has a couple of tags. This is from a Artie Mae's Foxglove kit. Love these flowers. I have these in my yard. And then these 2 tags were made from the Tim Holtz Wildflower die cuts. So this paper is really cute. I love the flowers, but I love the little gold. I don't know if you can see them. They probably show up, yeah. The little gold bees flying around on the paper. It's just, I think, a really cute touch. Now, I'm going to move this over so that we can see the papers. The papers, the signatures are narrow, about 4 inches. So, but I didn't cut the papers down. I left them whole, and they're just folded on one side. The other third, they're folded in thirds. So you'll get 2/3. The first half is folded, and the second half is just the size of the journal. These papers I made with ink and plants. So like this is lupine leaves, spray, coffee dye, all different colors. This is some music composition paper, avocado dyed paper. So see, they're all folded on this first half. Graph paper. Almost all of the papers are for writing. There's not a lot of decoration in the signatures. This is some old, it's I think 25% cotton. It's got a watermark on it right here. You can see, especially when you hold it up to the light. It's a nice vintage paper, very thick. This envelope over here, which you'll see in a few minutes, is made out of the same paper. It was part of like a stationery set. And this is some old vintage, like office memo, where you would take down the phone numbers and the names of callers. And then coffee dyed paper, just some regular legal pad. This paper, I love this paper, and it's going to be one of the things I carry. I'm going to open an Etsy store here before the end of the year, and one of my main things I'm going to carry is this purple paper. It's dyed with blackberries. So this has avocado dyed paper and blackberry dyed paper. Look at the pretty purple color. When I have it for sale in my shop, it'll have a bunch of different shades, and some you'll be able to buy a packet of really grungy looking paper. These pages are from the book. Each signature has a page, a couple pages. I think they are, this one's in the center. I think I did them all that way so they could be folded out, but I'm not positive. Pretty bird, all the yellow flowers. And so I like to keep a lot of the info on the flowers intact. So then we're on the other half. So these pages are not folded. This is just the other side of each page. The avocado dyed and the music. And then the inked paper, there's another leaf. So yeah, see on this side you can see the orange. On this side it was just the teals and stuff, but the whole page, you can see a little bit of it here. And then this is the envelope. It's that cotton vintage, and it's decorated with the Tim Holtz Wildflower die cuts. And I have a stamp to make these little tiny bees. I think they're so cute. One of my favorite stamps. And then all of the envelopes and the bags are reinforced with this music paper cut in this cool shape. And because I've used some heavy duty eyelets. And this has, sometimes you see people struggling with ring-bound journals to open and close the pages, but the main thing to remember is to have this part of the ring towards the back. And then the pages should be able to slide real easily over the ring, just like that. So in this envelope, let's do this side first. This is more napkin. I was saying how I used a lot of napkin. Love this one. I try to line it up so that it matches. A lot of work to do that, but it all is lined up as if there's no cut or separation. This is held closed by a magnet. And I did the same thing on the inside, lining up the flowers so it just looks continuous and you can't tell. That was a lot of work, this envelope was, I have to tell you, but I love it, and it's nice and inked. And inside I just put several pages of the book, and these are some of the first pages of the book that tell the contents, but I loved these because it showed all the different categories of flowers and the names and stuff. So this is a really cool section. And then the introduction, and then also I included, it's got like the plants of different areas. This is ground and grassland, plants of woodland, plants of water and wayside, heath and moor, and then it goes into some of the descriptions. These are a couple of handmade tags. This is I made this a couple of years ago, and this is like brown paper bag, and I stamped it with black and white ink. I rarely get to use the white ink, but I love the look of it. And then just a scrap of decoupage paper. I think this is Tim Holtz on some, this is Edith Holden paper back here. Love the script from her books. So that's the first envelope. And like I said, there'll be 3 envelopes, 3 bags, 3 signatures, and 3 dividers. This is the first divider. And I've kept one side in the natural state to show off the pretty flowers from the scrapbook paper. And then each side, I believe each one has a pocket. This pocket was made, this is a book page from the flower book. I just loved how that little pocket came out. It was cut with a die to make that pretty little shape. I put in a large tag. This is a Edith Holden book page. It's sewn around. And then bunch of little tags. There's a lot of purple. I think the main color is purple, and then there's also a lot of yellow and green. So I picked these cards because of the colors, and they have print lines on the back a lot of times when I don't use lined paper on the back. Okay, so that's the first section: a bag, signature, envelope, divider. This is the second bag. This one is a homemade bag. I saw this on the Paper Outpost, how to make these. And I used, it's actual book pages, but they're the front pages of the New York Times over the last century. So it makes for cool journal stuff, cool book page to use. And then a little pocket, little tags that match the pocket. And then this is just a little mini journal. These pictures, excuse me, are from an Artie Mays kit. But it's mostly blank paper. I want to make sure there's as much writing room as possible. Love that image. So, yeah, there's a few images. Every now and then I put in one of the pictures. And then in between there's several sheets for writing on. And then on the back of the pictures too, the pages are lined. So that's just your little mini journal in there. Good to throw in the purse or something. This has a pocket on the back. Like I said, all in purple, lots of purple. This is just a strip of burlap and a strip of, these are like foam. Both came from the Dollar Tree. This is like a little pocket in a purpley colored pattern paper. I forget if I printed this or if it's a scrapbook paper. Just more little tags for writing on. They're lined on the back. This is lined with an avocado dyed paper. More tags here. And then there's these 4 little tags. Pretty little purple flowers on them. They have a very vintage look. I'll put this back together. And then we have the second signature. This is from the scrapbook paper. And they're all tied with a purple waxed linen string. Inside this one. Love this. On the inside, the gold embossed and on the dark purple background. This paper, this is going to be one of the first tutorials that I do. It looks like homemade paper, but it's faux homemade paper. Has a nice texture, but you can write on the back. I have to keep moving this journal back and forth to stay on screen. Boy, I've got to figure out why my camera will not rotate. Anyway, it's got coffee dyed paper on the back, but I've made it using real fern pieces and leaves. And so all the paper again on this first half is folded, avocado dyed. This one has a piece of ledger paper, more coffee dyed, more book page, pretty poppies. This coffee dyed paper has a pretty doily on it. Some more lined legal paper. This is from when I was doing the ink pages, so it has some pretty blue in there. And then this is the other half. You can see that this doily is vintage. I have the package. It says 43 cents on it. The original stamped price tag. It's very cool. The book page, I tried to do a good variety. This has roses and strawberries. And so, yeah, that's the rest of the papers, and then the other half of the faux homemade paper and the pretty foiled paper. So that's the second signature. And this is the second envelope. It's a Glassine envelope. And I just decorated the spine with some dark purple lace. These flowers are real pressed flowers. And then these little ones, the flower petals were starting to fall off. So I did them as they were sprinkling down to the ground. Maybe the leaves are paper. I did those with a die cut. I love this. I think it's so just cute. And inside there, it's just some small journaling cards. I love to print stuff when one of my colors runs out on my printer. And this is when the yellow had run out. So everything that should be green is more of a bluish color. and then the backgrounds all have a tint to them. But whenever I run out of a color in the inkjet printer, I usually print a bunch of different stuff just for the different coloration that you get. This is the second divider. I used to have this written down, now I don't remember. Something about nature, simple. You can look it up, it's easy. You just type this in. I wish I could remember. This, one of my favorite pockets. I've got a huge tablecloth. And out of the whole thing, I can only get about 8 of this shape with the flowers and the leaves going down. And I cut it almost in a heart shape to try to get the shape of those other flowers. One of my favorite little pockets. On the back, I've glued some of the green painter's masking paper to give it a little more strength. And then it matched the color of this, so it worked out well. A couple of really pretty purple flowers. And then this side I left alone so you could just see the beautiful artwork on this paper pad. Okay, so here's second bag. No, this is the third bag. Right, we had the paper bag and the glassine bag. So this is the third bag, and it's just got paper and tags and stuff in it. This first side of the bag has a couple sheets of some vintage stationery. Purple flowers, of course, a little purple trim, little ladybug on there. And then we flip it over. And this side has, I think, journaling cards. Yeah. So you can see this is another one where I printed after I ran out of the yellow ink. I probably did these all at the same time, but like the sunflower should be yellow. But there's no yellow ink in the printer. And again, like I already said, it makes the leaves of the plant blue instead of green and gives that tint to the background. I also inked the edges of this with purple ink. I think they're beautiful. I think for something different, it's actually one of my favorite things to do when I run out of ink. I think I could actually take out like the yellow and put in the empty one and print that way whenever I want to. It's an idea. This is the last envelope, and this is a homemade envelope. I made this. I can't remember where this picture comes from, but it was printed onto the paper, and the butterfly has a little bit of glitter there. And I don't know, can you see the embossing? The hearts that are on the whole paper. I put it through the embossing folder and put our hearts on the paper. And I covered it with decoupage glue to give it some strength because it was just a piece of coffee-dyed copy paper. And inside there's a couple of tags. These are some of the first tags I ever made when I first started. And they're just printed. But I love the color. This was, I should say, some of the first tags I ever made where I did the design myself. Where I put the flowers onto a background and then printed it out. Trying to learn a little bit about digital. I still am. I don't know much. But a couple of really pretty tags, I think. And then this craft paper on this last signature is the same stuff with the gold foil decorations. It's a different page. So instead of the bees, you have the gold foil as part of the flowers. You can see it on these blue ones over here and up here. A lot of times I'm not a huge fan of the foiling, but I thought they did a really good job on this paper with those bees and with the way they did the flowers on here. So this is the last signature. So this one opens to the right instead of opening to the left. I made it that way. So when you pull out the papers, you know, it's easier to write instead of having them over on top of this. And so this was, I made this with plants and paint. Avocado dyed. I'm not gonna, they're all folded. They're folded on this side to go out that way. This is another piece of that cotton paper. And then this one I did like the first one with the same papers. Another piece of the blackberry dyed paper. Another set of book pages with pretty, lots of purple flowers in the center. And then the other half of the book pages, or the scrapbook paper. So this one has a little pocket on the back, a little pocket made out of one of the small pieces of Tim Holtz paper. So I just cut it and put a lot of random sets of 2 tags like that. I think those are Ephemera's Vintage Garden. So are these. Kind of went through my stash and grabbed a bunch of tags that had flowers on them for this little pocket. And then this tag was made with a napkin and decoupaged. I stamped French script on the background, then decoupaged the napkin on. And then the last divider. This one's a little different. I made it. It's not the scrapbook paper like these, the first 2. So I just made it using, I think it was a time card. And it's got 3 of the foxglove tags. And then 2. These are from the same designer as the very first 2 lavender tags, and I really wish I could remember. It's something craft tree, Caroline's Craft Tree, I think, on Etsy. But I love the mason jars, and she, you know, I did the fussy cut around the lids. So, cute, cute. And then this is, I think this is napkin decoupaged over the book page, so you can see the text in the background, which I think is kind of cool. So that's the last divider. You can write on the back, coffee dyed paper, and then this last pocket on the back page. This is also from the Foxglove Kit by Artie Mae's pretty postcard. I just love her work. You can see there's the faded foxglove on this side. I made a pocket. It's die cut along the bottom. And then these 2 are just some leftover scrapbook paper. I thought they were pretty florals, so I used them to cut out a couple tags. And then another specimen tag. This is also from the Artie Mae's kit, like the one on the first page. It's on a little chain, so it could be added. This other specimen tag, I didn't put on a chain. I didn't want it to hang down so low. I cannot open all these at the same time. There we go. This one is on a bulb pin. So easy to take off if you want to. I could always hang this one also from the one of the rings if you want. See, these move really easily on the rings when you have the combined place where they connect. If you have that towards the back, they open and close really easily. Like I said, just move these to the back and keep them there. This is Sari Silk. It's been block printed. It's one of my favorites. Actually, this side. And I thought it just went perfectly with this kind of nature flower journal. So that's it. That's the journal. And I just wanted to show my customer. Maybe it'll help her decide if she wants it or not. Anyway, guys, it's like I said, it's been a long time, but I'm going to be back. But I have to figure out the camera situation or get a new phone. My son has said he'll buy me a new phone, but I don't expect that to be for a while. So I'll figure something out. I don't really want to do videos in this orientation. It's just not the best. So look for me. Hang in there. I'll be back and we'll do some cool stuff, okay? Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.